Hey, it's me, Chandler, and I'm back. So, let's talk about what's up in Japan for May 2016. Okay, so the first story we have is something I think probably everybody knows about. This was an international story, and it's about the boy who was stuck in the woods for about 7 days. So if you don't know this story, basically the father was angry at the son. Apparently the son had been throwing rocks at cars or something, and so in general it sounds like, just some wild kid. So I understand why the father was angry, but normally people, give your son a timeout, or you take away his favorite toy, or give him a stern talking to, or maybe even some parents would spank their child. He decided the best way to discipline his child was to tell him to get out of the car in the woods and drive off. I guess to his credit, he came back later, but by that time his son was gone and he was lost. And after looking for him for a while, he eventually went to the police, and they had a manhunt for about 7 days trying to look for this child in the woods. Keep in mind, these aren't just normal woods. There are bears and other things in these woods. So I fear that this child had died, to be honest, but after 7 days they found him, and apparently he found a hut that had running water, so he's able to drink some water. So luckily he's okay now. But I was surprised. Apparently this father won't be charged with anything, which I was shocked about, and he gave a teary apology, which I guess it's good to apologize to everyone in public for helping him find his child, but really he should apologize to his son. And I don't know if an apology is enough, but I don't know. Personally, for me, I've seen too many Japanese people crying and apologizing. I'd rather just see them punished for doing something like this, but just my opinion. The next one is also a little bit interesting. If you didn't know, tattoos are kind of a taboo thing in Japan. Although they have a long history in Japan, actually if you have a tattoo, many times you can't go into an onsen. This is a traditional Japanese hot spring. Because of that, many Japanese people don't get them, but recently they've increased in popularity a bit. And one type of tattoo that has increased in popularity recently is the O-tattoo. So as you can see, this is a tattoo where you take an anime character and you put it on some part of your body. And although it looks a little bit interesting or strange to see this, I was surprised about how good the artwork is. This is apparently a tattoo artist in Yokohama. I can't remember the name now, but I'll try to put his name below. But he's actually an amazing artist. His craftsmanship is amazing, the type of art he can do. I can't even do anything like this with a pencil or a pen on paper. The fact that he's doing this on people's arms is amazing. So if you're in Japan and you want an O-tattoo, go to that guy. He obviously knows what he's doing. Also this month was National Star Wars Day, or probably International Star Wars Day I should say. And so Star Wars isn't as big in Japan as it is in America. However, it is still big and it is still popular. Everybody likes it, and they, I think, released the DVD on that day. But if you're like me, I'm sure what you wanted as a child was a lightsaber of your own. And actually, one Japanese parent found out how to make his own lightsaber for cheap. So, if you look at his YouTube video, he shows how to make this on his site. So I actually made one myself. Actually, I made two myself. And so you can make these. They don't cost very much. He says 200 yen. To be honest, these cost me more than 200 yen each to make, but I'm complaining over nothing because they probably cost like 400 yen or 300 yen. So they're very cheap. You can get all these things at the 100 yen store if you live in Japan. If you're not in Japan, I don't know if you can, but they're an easy and cheap way to have fun with your kids. Or even if you don't have kids, if you just want to be an adult and mess around with fake lightsabers. Who's to say you can't? I do it, so. In other news, which is unfortunately bad, there's recently been an increase in the number of attacks and assaults. And so far, I don't think they're actually on normal people, but the attacks and assaults that have been increasing have been on train staff. So train conductors and the staff that work at the ticket gate. I guess in the last few years, they have been taking statistics on how often they're being assaulted. And I was surprised because every year it has increased, and so this year it's the highest it's been. This is actually shocking to me, but they actually went over the causes of it. So one cause was being warned not to do something, and then the person gets angry and grabs the conductor or whatever. Another one was being drunk, and if you've ever been in Japan, there's lots of people that drink and they just go crazy. I've seen at least 3 times people having sword duels with umbrellas in the middle of the train station around people. So people definitely get angry and yell, and I guess they attack train conductors. And the actual number one reason is suddenly and for no reason at all. So I guess people just get really angry at train conductors for something that happened before or something unrelated to the train conductor and just grab him or punch him or whatever they're doing. So now they have these crazy signs that show like, don't punch the train conductor or don't grab his tie. And they're putting these up so people will stop, and I understand that, and it's supposed to be serious, but to be honest, these pictures make me laugh, so I don't know. But I'm not assaulting train conductors, so I guess that's the difference. And you shouldn't either. They're just trying to do their job. And the last one is about a Japanese idol group. And this idol group is named Deep Girl, I believe. I'll send a link to, or I'll link up to their YouTube video. You can see one of their videos. It's actually somewhat disturbing. It's a Japanese idol group, and usually idol groups are like happy pop music, but this is like heavy metal with high school girls, and there's a few disturbing scenes of girls beating up a dummy and slitting their wrist in bathtubs. I don't know who this is aimed at, but who knows. Anyways, they have a unique campaign to get more people to buy their CDs. If you didn't know this, in Japan recently the CD sales have decreased. And although Japan is one of the few places in the world where CD sales are still kind of popular, people really haven't moved on to streaming services, and even MP3s aren't, well, they're popular, but downloading MP3s isn't like in other places. So lots of people still do purchase CDs. But just music in general, I think, is down. So lots of these groups, they basically try to have some kind of gimmick to get people to buy it. And so what they do before is, if you buy 5 CDs, the idol will sign one of them, or if you buy 10 CDs, you can go to an event where you can meet the idol and shake hands with her, or like talk to her for 5 seconds or something. And so they've done this so they'll buy more and more CDs. But one of the crazy things is this group Deep Girl has quite a few different ways to make money doing this. So let me get the list and show you what they are. Okay. Apparently, if you buy 75 CDs, you get wake-up calls from a idol member of your choice for 1 week. And so, unfortunately, the calls are only 1 minute, and I guess they wake you up with their voice, which is, I guess it's nice, but 75 is a lot of CDs. But I guess if you have money like that, I guess it's okay. But there's more. For 100 CDs, you get a private 45-minute photo shoot with the idol member of your choice. Of course, there's staff members there, so you're not just in a room together with this idol. That seems really dangerous. But I don't know what this photo shoot is. They didn't really describe it, so I don't know if it's you're watching her get her photo taken, or you take photos of her, or you take photos with her, or I don't really understand. I also don't understand how, if there's other staff members there, or if there's a photographer, how it's private. But, whatever. For 150 CDs, you can have a 1-hour phone conversation with the idol of your choice. Which, at first, I thought, maybe this is kind of interesting, but now I think about it, 1 hour is a long time. It's a little bit difficult. It's difficult for me to talk to people I know for 1 hour. But think about talking to someone you don't know. Especially, I imagine that lots of people that are going to buy this are men, and so they probably, have a crush on this girl. I think you'd be nervous talking to some girl like that for 1 hour, but what do I know? For 300 CDs, you can have lunch with the idol of your choice. So you have lunch with her, and then a staff member from the company also sits at the table with you to make sure you don't try any funny business. For 500 CDs, you can do the same thing, except instead of lunch, it's dinner. So I guess that's more romantic, but that's lots of CDs. For 1,000 yen, you have a 1-day date. So it starts at, I think, 10 a.m. and goes to 10 p.m. and you go all around Tokyo and do various things. So I guess that's kind of perhaps interesting. So I guess you can take pictures and things, so maybe that's good. And finally, for 2,000 yen, what you can do is you can go on a 1-night onsen trip with the idol of your choice. For those that don't know, onsen is a hot spring, which I think I explained before in this video. And so basically, you go in, it's like a bath, and get naked, and it's it's hot spring water, and it feels nice. If you haven't done it, try it. One thing I don't understand though, I don't know if this is, are you together in the hot spring? Or I know lots of hot springs, it's divided men and women's, so they're separate. But there's some of them where it's together, and some of them they have like the hot spring inside the room, so you just have one for both of you. They don't really clarify that, but there is a staff member there to make sure you don't try any funny business. And I don't know if you have separate rooms, or you sleep in the same room, or what's going to happen. But of course, it's 2,000 CDs. And keep in mind, this isn't $2,000, it's 2,000 CDs. The CDs are probably around 2,000 yen each, maybe. At the cheapest, they're 1,000 yen, which I doubt. I imagine they're more than that. And the most expensive, they're probably 3,000 to 3,500 yen. So this is a lot of money. I'm guessing this is around the price of a car. So if you have that much money, you can go out to an onsen with one of these girls, and I hope she doesn't start cutting her wrist in the onsen. Anyways, that's it for this month. Next month I'll have some more stories, and between then and now I'll try to put up another video. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, give me a like, and until next time, see you. If you enjoyed that video, subscribe. Also, feel free to comment down below and check out some of my other videos here. Or is it here?